The multiverse saga has been building to this moment. Avengers Doomsday isn't just another Marvel crossover. It's the beginning of a war that could reshape the MCU forever. Marvel has already confirmed an incredible lineup of heroes, and this isn't just for show. Every single one of them has a role to play, a purpose to fulfill, and, possibly, something to lose. Let's start with the man who has carried the MCU for nearly 2 decades, Thor. Thor is now the longest-serving Avenger still standing. He's fought Loki, Hela, Thanos, and Gore the God Butcher. He survived battles that would have destroyed almost anyone else. By the time Avengers Doomsday begins, Thor won't just be another member of the team, he'll likely be one of its most experienced leaders. But that's exactly why his return matters. Doctor Doom isn't just another powerful villain. He's one of Marvel's greatest masterminds, combining genius-level intelligence with mystical powers that rival some of the strongest beings in existence. Against a threat like that, experience becomes just as valuable as raw strength. Marvel has officially confirmed Chris Hemsworth's return. And there's another reason Thor almost has to be part of this movie. Since Iron Man and Steve Rogers are gone, someone has to represent the original Avengers. Thor is the last founding member still protecting Earth, making him the natural bridge between the MCU's past and its future. Yet even Thor may not be the biggest surprise Marvel has confirmed, because one of Earth's newest heroes is stepping onto the biggest stage imaginable. Captain America, Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson never wanted to replace Steve Rogers. He wanted to earn the shield his own way. After proving himself in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and leading during Captain America: Brave New World, Sam enters Avengers Doomsday as the MCU's official Captain America. That's far more important than it sounds. Every Avengers team needs someone capable of bringing completely different heroes together. Steve Rogers did it during the Infinity Saga. Now that responsibility belongs to Sam. Unlike Steve, Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum. He isn't the strongest and the fastest, but that's exactly what makes him such an interesting leader. Every victory he earns comes through intelligence, strategy, and determination, instead of overwhelming power. Marvel has already confirmed Anthony Mackie's return, strongly suggesting Sam will become one of the central figures organizing Earth's response against Doctor Doom. Because sometimes, leadership isn't about being the strongest person in the room. It's about being the one everyone chooses to follow. And speaking of leaders, Marvel is finally bringing back someone fans have waited years to see. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Few characters are more important to Doctor Doom's story than Reed Richards. Their rivalry stretches across decades of Marvel history. They're not simply enemies. They're intellectual equals, whose different worldviews constantly push them toward conflict. That's why Reed's confirmation might be the single biggest clue about Avengers Doomsday's story. Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic isn't just joining the Avengers because he's another superhero. He's joining because no one understands Victor Von Doom better than Reed Richards. In the comics, Reed and Doom were once friends before a scientific experiment changed both of their lives forever. One became Marvel's greatest scientific hero. The other became its greatest dictator. If Marvel follows even part of that relationship, Reed won't simply be fighting Doctor Doom. He'll be confronting someone he once believed in. That emotional connection could become one of the movie's most important storylines. But Reed isn't arriving alone, because Marvel's first family is finally entering the MCU together. Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. Sue Storm has often been underestimated. That has always been a mistake. Yes, she can turn invisible, but that's only the beginning. Her force fields are among the most powerful defensive abilities in Marvel Comics. She is capable of blocking attacks from cosmic-level threats and trapping enemies far stronger than herself. Marvel has confirmed Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, and her role could become even bigger than fans expect. Why? Because Sue has always been the emotional center of the Fantastic Four. When Reed becomes obsessed with solving impossible problems, Sue reminds him what they're fighting for. Against someone as manipulative as Doctor Doom, that emotional balance may prove just as important as any superpower. And then there's the strongest member of the family. Not the smartest, but the strongest. The Thing. Ben Grimm dreamed of exploring space. Instead, One accident trapped him inside a body of living stone. Every day he wakes up looking like a monster, while trying harder than anyone else to remain human. Despite his appearance, Ben remains one of Marvel's most human characters. He's loyal, protective, and willing to stand between danger and the people he loves without hesitation. Marvel confirmed Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing, and his inclusion solves one major problem. Doctor Doom's forces are expected to include incredibly powerful enemies. Eventually, someone simply has to stand their ground. That's Ben Grimm's specialty. He doesn't quit and run. He keeps getting back up, even when everyone else thinks the fight is already over. And Marvel isn't stopping there, because another member of the Fantastic Four brings something completely different to the battlefield. Human Torch. Johnny Storm is usually the first person people underestimate. He's funny, cocky, and reckless. But beneath all of that is one of Marvel's strongest energy manipulators. Flying at incredible speeds while generating temperatures capable of melting steel, Johnny becomes one of the Avengers' greatest aerial fighters almost immediately. Joseph Quinn has officially joined the MCU, making Human Torch another confirmed hero for Avengers Doomsday. His personality also introduces something the Avengers desperately need, and that is hope. When stories become darker, Johnny often reminds everyone why they're still fighting. Doctor Doom may command armies, but morale wins wars, and Johnny has never struggled to keep people's spirits alive. Yet the next confirmed hero might be the biggest wildcard of them all, because he doesn't come from Earth at all. Black Panther, Shuri. When Shuri first appeared in the MCU, she was the brilliant princess behind Wakanda's greatest inventions. Few imagined she'd eventually inherit one of Marvel's most iconic mantles. But after the heartbreaking events of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, she accepted a responsibility far greater than the throne. Now she's one of Earth's strongest protectors. Marvel has officially confirmed Letitia Wright's return, and her role in Avengers Doomsday feels almost inevitable. Not just because she's the Black Panther, because Wakanda possesses something Doctor Doom would desperately want. For decades, vibranium has been the most valuable resource on Earth. In Marvel Comics, Doom has repeatedly sought advanced technology to strengthen Latveria and expand his power. Wakanda's scientific advancements and vibranium reserves make it one of the first places any global threat would target. That immediately places Shuri on the front lines. But unlike T'Challa, Shuri approaches problems differently. She's a scientist before she's a warrior. She analyzes, adapts, and innovates. Against a genius like Doctor Doom, that mindset could become one of the Avengers' greatest weapons. And if Wakanda becomes one of Doom's first targets, Shuri won't simply defend her nation, she'll defend the future of the entire planet. But Wakanda's greatest rival may soon become one of its greatest allies. Namor. Few heroes have ever entered the MCU with as much raw presence as Namor. He didn't arrive asking for peace. He arrived declaring war. The ruler of Talokan proved he was powerful enough to flood entire cities, overpower the Hulk-level strength of Wakandan warriors, and challenge the Black Panther herself. Yet despite everything that happened in Wakanda Forever, Namor isn't a villain. He's a king. Every decision he makes is about protecting his people. That's exactly why Marvel confirmed Tenoch Huerta's return. When Doctor Doom's threat reaches global levels, isolation stops being an option. Even Namor understands that some enemies can't be fought alone. Comic readers know Doom has crossed paths with both Wakanda and Atlantis countless times. That history makes Namor one of the most fascinating wildcards in Avengers Doomsday. Will he truly fight beside Earth's heroes? Or simply use the chaos to strengthen Talokan? Knowing Namor, the answer is probably both. And speaking of heroes carrying mysterious power, Marvel may already have the key to one of the MCU's biggest mysteries: Shang-Chi. When Shang-Chi received the 10 rings, Wong immediately noticed something strange. The rings weren't just ancient weapons, they were sending a signal to someone. Marvel has intentionally left that mystery unanswered for years. Now Avengers Doomsday might finally explain why. Simu Liu has officially been confirmed to return, making Shang-Chi one of the Avengers' newest heavy hitters. Unlike Thor or Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi's greatest strength isn't overwhelming power, it's adaptability. Every fight teaches him something and makes him better. Combined with the 10 rings, He's capable of battling enemies far beyond normal human limits. If Doctor Doom begins collecting mystical artifacts or ancient technologies, as he often does in the comics, the Ten Rings could become one of the objects he wants most. That alone places Shang-Chi directly in Doom's path. But while Shang-Chi represents mystery, the next hero represents pure unpredictability: Ant-Man. Scott Lang has accidentally saved reality more times than he'd probably like to admit. He helped defeat Thanos, discovered the quantum realm's true potential, and survived Kang the Conqueror. That's a resume almost nobody else in the MCU can match. Marvel has confirmed Paul Rudd's return, and his experience inside the quantum realm could become surprisingly important. The multiverse saga has repeatedly connected quantum physics with alternate realities. Doctor Doom's plans may involve dimensions, timelines, or technologies beyond normal understanding. If that happens, Scott becomes far more valuable than just another Avenger. He's one of the few heroes who's already navigated impossible physics and lived to tell the story. Of course, Scott never travels alone for long. Sentry. Every superhero team has one member everyone quietly worries about. For the Avengers, that could become Sentry. Lewis Pullman's Sentry brings something completely different into the MCU. Unlimited power. Comic readers often describe him as having the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. But enormous power always comes with enormous consequences. Inside Robert Reynolds exists another entity, the Void. A force every bit as destructive as Sentry is heroic. Marvel has already established Sentry through Thunderbolts, making his appearance in Avengers Doomsday feel like the natural next step. Against Doctor Doom, the Avengers may desperately need someone this powerful. But they'll also have to ask a terrifying question. What happens if the strongest hero on Earth loses control? Sometimes, your greatest weapon can become your greatest threat, which makes the next group of confirmed heroes even more important. Because unlike gods or super soldiers, they know exactly what it's like to operate in the shadows. Yelena Belova. Yelena Belova doesn't fight like an Avenger. She fights like an assassin. Years of Red Room training made her one of the most dangerous hand-to-hand combatants in the MCU. Every movement is calculated. Every strike has a purpose. She doesn't rely on superpowers because she never needed them. Marvel has officially confirmed Florence Pugh's return, and Avengers Doomsday could finally push Yelena onto Marvel's biggest stage. With Natasha Romanoff gone, Yelena represents the next generation of Black Widow. More importantly, she brings something the Avengers often lack: covert operations. Not every battle against Doctor Doom will happen on an open battlefield. Some missions will require infiltration, espionage, and information gathering. That's exactly where Yelena excels. She may not defeat Doom alone, but she could uncover the secret that allows everyone else to. And if Yelena is coming, she won't be arriving alone. Bucky Barnes. Few heroes understand redemption better than Bucky Barnes. For decades, he was Hydra's greatest weapon. Now he's one of Earth's greatest defenders. Marvel has confirmed Sebastian Stan's return, making Bucky one of the veteran heroes entering Avengers Doomsday. Unlike newer Avengers, Bucky has fought beside Steve Rogers, Black Panther, Sam Wilson, and even the Guardians. That experience matters. Every major Avengers movie has relied on characters capable of staying calm while everything falls apart. Bucky has spent his entire life surviving impossible wars. Doctor Doom may bring humanity's greatest challenge yet, but Bucky has never been the kind of soldier who runs from impossible odds. And standing beside him is someone nobody expected to become an Avenger. Looking at this roster, one thing becomes obvious. Marvel isn't simply assembling another Avengers team, it's bringing together nearly every corner of its universe. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts, Wakanda, Talokan, and the X-Men. Every major franchise is finally beginning to collide, and there's only one villain important enough to force all of them into the same battle. That is Doctor Doom. Because Doom has never been just another Marvel villain. He's the kind of threat that changes the entire universe simply by arriving. Every confirmed hero we've discussed may believe they're preparing to stop Doctor Doom, but Marvel fans know something terrifying. In the comics, Doom doesn't just defeat heroes, he steals entire worlds. And if the MCU follows that path, Avengers Doomsday may not end with victory. It may end with Earth losing. forever. The only question now is, will even all of these heroes be enough? Or is Avengers Doomsday only the beginning of something even bigger? Let us know which confirmed hero you're most excited to see, and which team-up you can't wait to watch when Avengers Doomsday finally arrives.